Alright, so in my last video I said that I wanted to make a video on Darryl and that I already had all the footage needed. Well, after playing him a few more times, I decided to redo it, so this is probably going to be a bit more different than what I had in mind. Regardless, I've been looking forward to this for a while now, so with that said, let's first check out the loadout. For my gadget, I decided to go with Recoiling Rotator because I believe it has a bit more practicality than his tar barrel. For my first gear, I'll be using damage, and for my second, health. And finally, for my star power, I'll be using steel hoops. So with all that said, let's get started. Now Darryl is a very interesting brawler because he feels like an improved version of himself of what he was back then, if that makes sense. From what I remembered, he only had one super, his health was lower, so was his damage, and basically if you wanted a close quarters brawler who does high damage, you'd probably pick Bull over this guy. I'm not saying that he wasn't useful or anything, but he had a few things that other brawlers did better. But of course that's completely different nowadays because more people are using him, myself included. Thanks to his gadgets and star powers, now he has an edge over more brawlers than he did before. And probably the big elephant in the room is the fact that he has two supers instead of one. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a bit shorter than it was back then, but coupled together you'll be able to travel farther. And that's really the best aspect about Darryl, having the ability to almost go anywhere and dodge anything, but using it against other brawlers is almost a guaranteed win because of that little stutter effect that it causes, as well as if you're using steel hoops. In this match alone, I've used the same technique to kill like 4 or 5 brawlers, and it always worked like a charm as well. Though I guess the only brawlers that could somewhat pose a threat are like Shelly or Chester, who could take fat dumps on you up close. So I'd say it's best to avoid them, or at the very least engage them when they don't have their supers yet. It's actually not a bad idea if you want to do some chip damage because it'll help you charge your super a bit faster, as well as put some pressure on the enemy to move away. And one of the best ways to do this is by using his Recoiling Rotator gadget. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I found this gadget to be a bit more practical than his tar barrel for 2 reasons. The first is that it charges the super by 25%, which can be really useful, though I can't say that I've ever hit more than one brawler while using it. But the second one is that it allows you to check your surroundings. So let's say you're in the middle of cavern churn, you have no idea where anyone's at. If you use this gadget, you'll be able to basically spot anyone, whether they're close by or far away. Now it's not entirely practical because your shots are really wide, but I'd say it's better to have it than to not. Of course it also matters where and how you use it, but no matter what you choose, there's no right or wrong answer. So in my opinion, I think Darryl is a fantastic brawler. I think there's a certain level of skill involved to use it super effectively, but it's nothing complicated. It's a matter of making sure you don't bounce off against walls or go somewhere you don't want to. So as long as you have that level of control as well as realizing which enemies you'll be able to take out, I think Darryl should be a really easy brawler to master. Anyways, have a good day.